Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to your boy's channel. You already know who it is. I'm back with a brand new video. And, we're getting closer and closer and closer to the new Superman movie coming out. And as we continue to get closer and closer, it seems like every single time I turn around, somebody got a complaint. And I've seen it a lot on Twitter. So right now I'm here on comicbookmovie.com, and as you can see, as the title says, Superman, 4 complaints from fans that make absolutely no sense. I want to check this out because I do want to see what fans are complaining about. So let's go ahead and do exactly that and see exactly what fans are not happy about when it comes to this movie. It says, we recently took a closer look at some of the dumbest complaints from fans about the Fantastic Four First Steps, and now it's time for July's other superhero movie to get the same treatment. Superman. Still surprised they didn't move any 3 of these big movies back or ahead. Superman lands in theaters just over a month from now, and the hope is that DC Studios co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran will right the ship and get the rebooted DCU off to a strong start. Fingers crossed, people, okay? Alas, some want to see the DCU fail before it even gets going. Thank you. There are many reasons for that. We'll get into some of them here. But Superman has become the target of their frustration. Then some just appear to hate this movie because, well, why not? It's a real shame. In this feature, we're taking a closer look at some of the more ridiculous complaints made about Superman. We recently did the same for the Fantastic Four First Steps. We're also explaining why, upon closer inspection, they make absolutely no sense. As always, just hit the next view list button below to find out why these problems aren't problems at all. And coming in at number 4, Superman Trunks. It's impossible to make everyone happy, but after years of whining that Henry Cavill's Superman didn't have his trunks in the DCU, which I had absolutely no problems with, there was a fresh round of complaints when David Corenswet was shown wearing them. It's such a dumb thing to make an issue out of. They are part of the character's look on the page, and while dated to some extent, they make Superman, well, Superman. We've already seen that putting the Man of Steel in the equivalent of a full-body blue, you know what, doesn't look great either. Gunn has found a way to make this work, and for that we should be grateful. They don't look out of place here, particularly with the comic book inspired tone the filmmaker is going for. There are too many characters. There's no denying that Superman has a huge cast. The Daily Planet newsroom was full. There are multiple villains, a justice gang, and lots of supporting characters. Ultimately, there's no way to do all of them justice, no pun intended. However, the movie doesn't need to. It's okay for Superman It's okay for Superman like Cat Grant to have only a few lines, or for Mr. Terrific to simply show up and do cool provided that we do get is written provided what is excuse me, I can't talk today. Provided what we do get is written well and they're treated with respect, these characters can still shine. That is true. Gunn has proven himself an expert at assembles, something we've seen in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos, and even Peacemaker. We don't expect Superman to be overshadowed by this bunch, so fret no more. Coming in at number 2, it's just a trailer to set up the DCU. One recurring complaint we've seen in that Gunn is using Superman solely as a launching platform for the wider DCU. There's some truth to that, especially as this movie is meant to reintroduce audience to characters who ultimately were sullied by the DCEU. Gunn has repeatedly said that Superman isn't necessarily setting up any future stories. Yes, we'll follow these characters to different projects. Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, for example, will next be seen in Peacemaker Season 2, but this isn't the equivalent of Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, in that several superheroes were thrown into the mix just so Warner Bros. Could rush into a Justice League movie and launch a series of solo movies. For better or worse, that's not what Gunn is looking to accomplish with Superman, so Iron Man 2 this ain't. And then, of course, you have number 1, not the Snyderverse DCEU. That is a badass poster. The Snyderverse gets a lot of hate, and often it doesn't deserve it. Zack Snyder's approach to comic book movies wasn't for everyone, but there's plenty of appreciation and even love for movies like Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and his cut of Justice League. That is true. However, for the people who still complain to restore the Snyderverse, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, it's time to move the F on. It's a shame Snyder never got to make his sequels, but living in the past isn't healthy, and even if Superman made only $1 at the box office, the DCU still wouldn't be restored. It also shouldn't be resurrected. It's Gunn's chance to put his spin on the DC universe, and a bright, less grim approach feels like the right move. You don't have to love the filmmaker, but you should give him a chance because it's got to be better than most of what's come before. That is true. And here, why fans should give Superman a chance. Talking of chances, you should give Superman one when it swoops into theaters just over a month from now. Having trouble talking. The DCEU produced more misses than hits and culminated with a largely abysmal 2023 that saw us suffer through The Flash and Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom. I saw The Flash, didn't watch Aquaman, didn't find a reason to. Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav was willing to scrap Batgirl when it was in the midst of post production, so you'd best believe he wouldn't hesitate to shove the DC brand or simply sell it off to the highest bidder. DCX Prime Video is not something we need to see. We need to want to see. If Superman sucks, then we'll meet back here next month and we'll look at where it all went wrong. For now, all signs point to this movie being a lot of fun. Hopefully, it will also usher in a new era of storytelling that does right by these iconic characters. All right, so that's it for that, man. Like I said, I think people should be open-minded and give this a fair shake, simply because it's here, and I know a lot of people miss the DCU. I do too. Okay, honestly, deep down, I miss the DCU, and I wish this thing would have worked out. Unfortunately, it did not, and it is hard looking at this picture and not seeing how badass this DC universe would have turned out. And of course, I like the trailer. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens as far as the future storylines and everything go, but we'll see what happens. I know a lot of people have had a lot of things to say as far as like the character designs and suits and how cheap they look. I mean, honestly, I believe some of this is probably the suit that she's wearing for a company. I forgot the name of it, like Maxwell Lord, I believe. But I'm pretty sure the helmet is 100% hers. But I do understand why people are comparing it to the what's the name of the movie? Black Adam character, because that looked badass. That looked like it was right straight from like whatever time period he came in, and this one definitely has a look more modern take to it. As far as the movie having a lot of characters in it, I do agree. There's a lot of characters in this movie. I seen somebody post something on social media saying that they don't feel like every single character has to have a setup, a standalone movie is basically what I'm saying. And to some degree, they are right. Now, I do feel like some of the bigger unknown characters could do with a standalone movie, but maybe it is best they appear like this, and then maybe eventually move on and get their own standalone movie, depending on how James Gunn, rates the fans and how they feel about the character, like Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner. Because if they got the movie before they came out, and I know I've said this a lot about characters getting the movie before they rush into the big team up movie, and fans don't like it, then it's gonna be really bad for the theaters, especially for a lot of everyday fans who don't know who a lot of these characters are, such as myself. But I do like his jacket, but I would like to see what his actual suit, Green Lantern actual suit looks like. Because obviously with them wearing all the same clothes, they're being, they're, what's the word? They're wearing company clothing. Maxwell Lord obviously has to be, and not their actual regular clothing. Um, as far as his ring goes, I will say this: it does look like the same ring from years ago that Ryan Reynolds wore. I'm surprised they didn't give him the actual traditional ring that we've seen in cartoons. Maybe he wanted to go with a different style. Who knows? As far as the trunks go, he's still not selling me. I'm sorry. The trunks just look way too big, baggy, like a big diaper. I think they could have got redesigned like the whole entire suit. That's just my 2 cents. Okay. I respect what this person is saying, but I'm just not a big fan of the big ass draws. So, with that being said, post your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this article. Again, Superman, 4 complaints from fans that make absolutely no sense. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you all think about the complaints. Do y'all agree? Do y'all disagree? Why do y'all agree? Why do y'all disagree? Post all those comments down below. I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you all for watching, and I'm out. Peace.